Welcome to another episode of Rachel at Moonlight Library. I am today going to be talking about tier ranking. I'm going to be doing something. If you're new here, welcome. I'm going to be tier ranking horror books I've read. I'm kind of I love reading horror books, but when I go back, I'm like, Rachel, you haven't read that many horror books, so I'm gonna tier rank my TBR my horror books that I've read with you, and then depending on my tier ranking, maybe recommend me some horror books that you think are up my alley. I might have already heard of them. Maybe it'll push it higher on my TBR, or maybe it'll be something completely new to me. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to, because I'll do videos like this. Enjoy. Let us begin. I'm going to be looking that way. Starting out, for real, let's talk about my ranking system. I decided to choose films that I enjoy that are horror films. And they're not all ones I enjoy. It's kind of based off of my actual ratings on my Letterboxd of these horror films. And I try to pick names that kind of match the categories other than Hereditary. Maybe it's like Hereditary that I love them. There you go. Top bar is Hereditary, 5 stars. Love it. Not really star system, because who knows what I rated these at the time. Some of these might be how I feel about them now, or looking back on them, how much I remember. It's a category. So Hereditary's top. Second one is going to be Fresh, because I think that book is fresh. It's still fresh. It's really good, and I enjoyed it. Also, great horror film on Hulu. Oh my god. Sebastian Stan, I think is his name, and the girl from Normal People, and it's cannibalism, and it's so good. Also, the beginning is a believable rom-com. I was like, I kind of love you both. I kind of love you. Okay, number 3 is Crawl, and that is an alligator horror film set in Florida. It could crawl so other ones could run, Middle of the road. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Next one, 4th tier, getting kind of low, is The Descent 2, Part 2. That movie. I love The Descent. It's spelunking. It's scary. Creatures. Blah, blah, blah. The second one? Oh my god. It was not good. It was, not good. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with not good. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen, but didn't like it. Bottom tier, which you might be like, wait a second, there's one under that. We're gonna get there. So bottom tier is The Bad Batch. That horror movie I really didn't like. It's like a prison, area. They throw their prisoners into this piece of land, and it's no rules, blah blah blah, and it was just it was not good. If you like any of these books or movies and I'm calling them bad, it's really just how I like them. Nothing against you in liking them, because we all have our own taste. The last tier is Chopping Mall. Really strange horror slasher movie from the 80s or something, set in a mall. So this one is, I have forgotten what it's about, because it's been chopped from my memory. Doesn't mean I liked it or didn't like it. I don't remember it. So no order to these. We're going to start with Supernatural Enhancements. Oh my gosh. I freaking love this book by Edgar Cantero. It was so, it's like a puzzle. It has all of these different codexes, and you're figuring out all these mysteries. It's weird. It's strange. This person inherits this house from a dead relative that I don't think they knew very well, and that is fun. That was a fun book. Oh my god, that's Hereditary. Yeah. The next one's Only Good Indians. Stephen Graham Jones. I read it in December, and 2 years ago? No. January of 2 years ago? I don't remember when I read this book. This one follows, it's Native American, Indigenous, First Nations people who they kill this deer, and it's like this, they're haunted by what they did, and it's really good. It is quite scary. Like, it has its moments where it's very scary. I'm going to give it a fresh because I don't think it is one of those books that actually, like, really stuck with me, but I remember loving it when I did read it. Comfort Me with Apples. Wow. This was really interesting. A weird retelling. I can't even really explain it. It kind of has a Handmaid's Tale vibe, but also just this, like, weird Stepford Wives sort of energy to it. Very short. Good one. I would give it a fresh. It was a fresh book. Hollow Places. Oh my gosh, I'm loving all of these so far. This is going really well for them. Like, I see some that I don't really like, but this is going really well for it. This woman that goes back to her childhood home that's like a kind of house of mystery sort of thing, and some weird stuff happens, and there's weird things in the walls. That's all I will tell you. There's some strange trees. Someone has described it as having like a Gilmore Girls vibe, and I feel that, but in a horror sense. And, I'm living for it. It's a fresh. Horns! Joe Hill is my baby, and I love this man. So, obviously, Horns is going to be top tier. This is a guy wakes up, he has horns, and no one can lie to him, and now he's investigating his girlfriend's death, and it's crazy. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. I didn't put any Stephen King on this list. We'll do that another time. I was like, there are too many Stephen Kings. I want to tier rank Stephen King sometime. We're just not going to put that. That is Hereditary. American Psycho. Disgusting. Slasher. Horrifying psychopath. Super scary. 1980s New York. Business rich men. I love it. I legitimately puked. Hereditary. That's amazing. Dowry of Blood follows it's like a vampire's, like, one of his wives, and it was okay. I think it was a little boring to me. So, unfortunately, I don't know what I originally rated this one, but it's definitely going into the descent too, because I feel like it could have been better, and I'm looking back on it and I'm like, nope. House Across the Lake, you might be like, Rachel, is that horror? Yeah. I'm categorizing it. I am putting it there. I feel like Riley Sager has some hella horror elements, so we have 2 in here. I didn't put Lock Every Door in here, so whatever. So sue me. I haven't read the other ones. So, House Across the Lake, I've heard mixed reviews, but I freaking loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was really weird, and going into it with no expectations / low expectations, because I knew people didn't, like, really love it, it was for me. It was for me. And it's Hereditary. I friggin' loved it. Ring! Oh my god, you guys are probably like, Rachel, do you love everything you watch or read? And maybe the answer is yes. And maybe the answer, that's okay. Ring is amazing. It is what the movie is based on. I mean, the movie's based on the book, but it's also based on the original Japanese movie. I mean, the Japanese movie came out first, and then the Ring that we all love, fucking phenomenal movie, came out. So that's basically the plot, is like there's this VHS tape that you can't watch or else you're going to die in like 7 days. And phenomenal. I would give it a fresh, though. I think I remember it like not being everything I ever wished for, but that fucking cover is so nice. I don't think this does it justice. Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. That was the first Paul Tremblay I think I read. And that was actually really scary. It's like an exorcism, like possession sort of story about a family. It has kind of like Conjuring vibes. It has Conjuring vibes. We're going hereditary on that. Moth Diaries. Gosh, I need to start disliking books. No, I see ones I disliked, so we'll get there. Moth Diaries I read a very long time ago, and this is a boarding school, and there's this girl who seems to be like immortal, and it's kind of creepy. It's like kind of a sad girl horror before sad girl books were really sad girl books. I don't know. I would give it a crawl because I think I was kind of like it was good, but it wasn't that good. It was okay. I'm thinking of ending things. I fucking love this book. It's so weird. So this couple is going on a road trip to meet this man's family, to like eat dinner at this man's family's house. And it is so weird. It's like an exploration inside the mind. And also, main character is lactose intolerant. We love that. Because I am. So, Heart-Shaped Box. I love Joe Hill, but this book, it was not my favorite. I feel like there was a little bit too much of like a chase scene. So it's this like rock star guy who has been cursed, and he has to kind of figure out why he's cursed, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And the ending was a little too action intense for it to feel like a horror. Yeah. Maybe? Does that make sense? We're giving it a crawl. Anna Dressed in Blood. Here we go. This book was fucking deplorable. I'm so sorry if you loved it. It was really dumb. It was like a young adult, funny horror, and it was not funny, nor was it... I don't know. It wasn't scary. It wasn't funny. Bad Batch. You should have left. Scary. Weird. Very short. These people go to this kind of Airbnb rental place, this family, and the guy like kind of ends up, oh my god, it's really bad. It's so creepy, and it's like German horror. Read it. It's Hereditary. I love books, obviously. They're all going in Hereditary. The Devil All the Time. Creepy, gothic. It's like the horror element is kind of like this grossness to it. There's like this filth to it that's happening, and you're following a lot of different characters. It has like religion, like extreme religion, and it is very creepy. I am going to put that in fresh because that was a fresh book. House of Leaves, best book in the world. I'm sorry. It's the best book in the world. It's so freaking good. I don't care what you have to say. If you didn't like this book, I don't agree with you. Maybe it's not for everyone, but it should be. House of Leaves is about this house. Well, there's this journalist who is expose on his own life sort of thing. And he discovers that his house is smaller on the outside than it is on the inside when you measure it by like a little bit, and a lot of weird stuff starts happening. It's also told like that someone is writing a dissertation on this documentary that came out, and it's someone reading the dissertation and writing notes. Crazy. Hereditary. Cabin at the End of the World. It was creepy, a little bit forgettable to me. I am excited. M. Night Shyamalan is coming out with a movie of this, so I'm kind of intrigued. But was it one of my favorite books? No. I mean, it's... These people are, like, end up being taken hostage, and if they don't do something, the world's gonna end sort of thing. But is that true? I would probably give it The Descent Part 2. Fever Dream. Weird. I think it's Argentinian horror that is basically like a fever dream, and it is very strange. It's like a reminiscence on a lot of like events that happened. So that one is, I think it's Hereditary. The Ruins is about these friends that go to these ruins in Mexico, and the ruins are not the best place to go. They're not. I think they were just discovered, sort of thing, and it was a bad idea. So I didn't love this book, though. We're going to put it in Descent Part 2. Garden of Cornfield is about this person this like young adult teenager that moves to this town with her father, and in the town there's a lot of like separation between young and old, and it's like Founders Day festival day, and someone has dressed up like a clown and starts killing people, and it's kind of crazy. So this one's definitely fresh. It's not the top, but I did enjoy it. So my camera died, and now I'm back again. Let's see where I left off. The whole is really good. So this one is about this man who becomes a quadriplegic after he gets in a car accident with his wife, and his mother-in-law, starts taking care of him, and it is not good. It's not good. It's very bad what happens. This one's definitely a fresh category. Very creepy. Very scary. I would never want that to happen to me. Next up is Sisters. Sisters is this book about these twins and their mother. They're like maybe like 12 or something. I don't remember. I didn't know anything about it. I had just seen the cover, and I read it, and I regretted it because it was very bad. It was not scary. I mean, it was just kind of like annoying. Like, I was annoyed by the characters. I was annoyed by the conflict. So that's going in the bad batch. So sorry if you like that one. That was not for me. Then we have Rosemary's Baby. Classic. Classic. They want your baby, Rosemary. If you don't know, the movie is based off the book. Rosemary gets pregnant, and it's kind of weird, and it's very blamey. Like, oh, you can't believe a woman, a woman. And she has a really creepy person, like, whatever, like neighbor who's super helpful. Super helpful. Very demonic. Love it. That goes in fresh. This Thing Between Us. I did read this book. I did. I blacked out reading this book. I don't think I remember anything that happened. I read the book. I swear I read this book. I remember reading it. This guy's girlfriend dies, and I don't remember anything. That's Chopping Mall. So sad, because it's not like I even read it that long ago. Sometimes my brain just dumps. Just like, don't need that. Do not need that. Next is When the Reckoning Comes. It's about this girl who goes back to her childhood town, her hometown, and her best friend is getting married on a plantation like that had slaves back in the day, and it is haunting and traumatic. Our main character is black, and the person getting married is white, and it's like, I don't think you understand the generational trauma, and like how can you get married in a place that, like, maybe we shouldn't even visit? I don't know. Like, ugh. And it is quite scary. Ghostly. That one goes into Hereditary. I did love that book. Next is Things We Lost in the Fire. Argentinian horror short story collection that just did not hit home. It did not hit home. It was more shock factor, and the whole idea that horror is the torture of women, which I guess it's kind of commentary on that, but also I it did not speak to me. It really didn't. It's the Bad Batch for me. Next one is North American Lake Monsters. I read this book a long time ago. It's a short story collection. It's like horror, and I think they're like creatures in it. I can't remember a single short story from this book. Nothing. I read this book. I remember nothing from it. I remember not liking it, but we're going to put it in Chopping Mall, but I feel like if I remembered anything, it would be in Bad Batch. So, as much as it sounds cool and the cover's kind of cool, that's a no for me. We Sold Our Souls, Grady Hendrix. Yes, yes, yes. Horror, metal music, rock star, like, kind of like that grungy, like we make music, you know? But include the devil? But what else are you going to do? Except for put it in fresh. It wasn't my favorite, but I did really love it. The Passage by Justin Cronin. This is a vampire book that's kind of like this, apocalyptic vampire that takes place in a lot of, different timelines. And it was really good, very interesting, but I was never pushed to read the rest of the series. Like, I just kind of dropped off. Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. I would put it in Crawl. Good, not the best. There you go. Next is Home Before Dark, Riley Sager. I love this book. It is creepy. It's scary. It was getting me. I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And that one's definitely going in Hereditary because so much fun. My Best Friend's Exorcism. That is my favorite. Grady Hendrix. I've only read 2 of his books, but that one's my favorite. It is 1980s exorcism, like popular girl, you know, like all that. So good. Yes. Hereditary. Burn Our Bodies Down. Burn Our Bodies Down is this girl who's going back to her mother's childhood, like, hometown that, like, her mother had never filled her in on, like, where she came from. And it gets really freaking weird. Like, very strange book. It's a young adult horror, so it goes there, but it doesn't go all the way there, and it kind of leaves you wanting in a certain ways, or it was good. Like, I would put it in Crawl. I did enjoy it. It just, like, it's not something that I would revisit. I do want to read more from her, though. We Have Always Lived in the Castle, Shirley Jackson. It's amazing. It's a classic horror. So good. So it's like these 2 girls and their uncle that are still living in this house in the town is kind of like they're weirdos. And some of their family had died, and it's really strange. That's definitely a fresh book. Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. This is Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning. They wrote a young adult horror novel, and it was actually really entertaining. Like, I had a lot of fun reading this book. I've always kind of enjoyed Good Mythical Morning, or like I've been a fan, but wow, this book was like, what was going on here? What do you do? Why are you not writing more books? Because that was very fun. It definitely felt like a passion project sort of thing, and I was very into it. Lastly, Coraline. The girl goes into the upside down sort of thing. It's Neil Gaiman. We love it. It's creepy. It's weird. It's so good. Yes. That one goes into Hereditary. Okay, so obviously I am reading books because I like them. Like, I find books that I like, and that's what I do. And I'm pretty good at finding, like, reading books that I'm going to enjoy, because most things are basically 5 stars Hereditary or fresh. So, looky there. I'm good at choosing what I'm going to read. Let me know what you thought about any of these books, or if you would rate them differently. If you hated some of the books I love some of the books I hate, I would love to hear about it. Or have some suggestions based off of what I love the most. Specifically, if you've read Supernatural Enhancements, talk to me. I want to read that book again. I'm going to buy that book, and I'm going to read it again. So good. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. I hope to do more tier ranking soon. Maybe I'll go off genres. I really want to do a graphic novel one, but on Goodreads it says that I've read over 270 graphic novels. I don't know. Not sure how I would do that, but figure it out. Maybe I'll go like stages of my life, or by just series. Like, I'm not going to do all of Sandman because that's many. Let's just do the first one and count it as the full thing. That'll work. Anyways, enough about me. More about you. Have a good day.